An original podcast from podlatino.com.
There is a famous photo of Lionel Messi that very few people know. It is not of a goal. It is not of a trophy. It is not from any final or any packed stadium. It is a photo of an 11-year-old boy, thin, with long legs and a serious gaze, standing on a dirt pitch in Rosario, Argentina. He is wearing a shirt that is too big for him, and in his eyes there is something that only those who already know have, even if they do not yet know exactly what. Rosario is the third largest city in Argentina, a city of docks, factories, and families who came to work and stayed to live. A city that had already given the world Ernesto Guevara, better known as Che, and that one day would also give the world the most extraordinary footballer the planet has ever seen. But in 1987, when Lionel Messi was born, nobody knew that yet. Nobody could know. His father was called Jorge. He worked in a steel factory. His mother was called Celia. She was a part-time cleaning employee. They had 3 children before Leo, the 4th. A normal family in a normal neighborhood with the normal dreams that normal families have, that the children are well, that they lack nothing, that they are happy. Football was part of life the way it is in every corner of Argentina, but nobody in that family thought it was going to be everything. Leo started kicking a ball before he could speak properly. His grandmother Celia, the woman who loved him most in the world, took him to training sessions when he was 5 years old. She was his #1 fan, his personal cheerleader, the one who shouted loudest when the boy dribbled past everyone and scored. Years later, when Messi lifted the World Cup in Qatar, he pointed his hand to the sky. Everyone understood who the gesture was for. His grandmother had died in 1998, but he never forgot her. Never. At the Club Grandoli, where it all began, the coach saw something he could not explain in words. That boy did not run like the others. He did not strike the ball like the others. He did not think like the others. There was something in the way he processed the game, in the way his body responded before his mind had finished thinking. That was simply not normal. He was sent to Newell's Old Boys, one of the historic clubs of Rosario. And there everything was confirmed. But there was a problem that could have changed everything. At 9 years old, doctors discovered that Lionel Messi had a growth hormone deficiency. The diagnosis was clear. Without expensive and prolonged treatment, he would not grow as he should. He would remain short, and in elite football, where physiques matter as much as talent, that was seen as a significant obstacle. The treatment cost $900 a month. In the Argentina of the 90s, with the economy as it was, that was a fortune the Messi family did not have. Newell's wanted him, but could not pay for the treatment. River Plate, the biggest club in the country, watched him play and wanted him too. They did not pay either. And then came Barcelona. The story of how FC Barcelona came to sign Lionel Messi is one of those stories that sounds invented but is completely real. Carlos Rexach, the club's sporting director, went to watch the boy in an informal trial. What he saw in those minutes convinced him immediately. This boy was the best player of his age in the world, and he was probably going to remain so. The problem was that there was no time for paperwork, no offices, no bureaucracy to sort out at that moment. The deal had to be sealed before the boy left, and so someone found what was at hand, a paper napkin. And on that napkin, Carlos Rexach signed FC Barcelona's commitment to take charge of Leo Messi's medical treatment in exchange for the boy playing for them. A napkin. The destiny of one of the greatest athletes in history, written on a napkin. The Messi family moved to Barcelona in 2001. Leo was 13 years old. He was leaving behind Rosario, leaving behind his friends, leaving behind everything he knew. He was arriving in a new city, with a different accent, at a football academy where everyone was already good, where competition was fierce and nobody gave you anything for free. The first months were hard. The adjustment was difficult. There were moments of doubt, moments of longing, moments of wanting to go back. But Leo stayed. And he started to train. La Masia, Barcelona's famous academy, has produced some of the best players in history. But even there, among all that talent, Messi stood out in a way that could not be ignored. His teammates remember him as quiet, almost shy, someone who did not talk much but who, when he touched the ball, transformed into another being entirely. Coaches would look at each other after training sessions and shake their heads with that expression that says everything without saying anything. He made his debut for the Barcelona first team at 17 years old. On the 16th of October 2004, he came on against Espanyol. The world did not know it yet, but the most extraordinary era in the history of Spanish football had just begun. What came after is history everyone knows but is worth remembering. 8 Ballon d'Or trophies, the most prestigious individual award in world football. 4 Champions League titles, 7 Spanish League championships, the Copa America with Argentina in 2021, and then Qatar 2022. Qatar was different. Qatar was the repair of something that had been broken for too long. Messi had arrived at 4 previous World Cups with Argentina. In 2006, in 2010, in 2014, he reached the final and lost it against Germany in the last minute of extra time. A defeat that hurt him in his soul like few things in his career. In 2018, another disappointment. The World Cup, that tournament Maradona had won in 1986, and that all of Argentina felt was the definitive measure of greatness, seemed to keep slipping away from him. And then came Qatar. Messi was 35 years old. For many, it was too late. For many, time had passed, and it had to be accepted. But Leo never accepted it. He never put down his arms. He was the best player of the tournament, goal by goal, game by game, all the way to that legendary final against France. 90 minutes, extra time, penalties. Argentina world champions. Messi on his knees on the grass at the Lusail Stadium, crying, with the trophy in his hands, an entire country screaming his name thousands of miles away. It was the most human moment in the history of modern sport. The greatest of them all, crying like a child, because he had finally achieved the one thing he was missing. And now, at the 2026 World Cup, Messi returns. He is 38 years old. He plays for Inter Miami in the American MLS. His pace has slowed, but he has not lost what matters most. The intelligence, the vision, the ability to do something nobody else on the field can do at the moment it is needed. Argentina has a generation of brilliant players around him. But everyone knows that while Leo is there, he is the reference. This might be his last World Cup. Or it might not. With Messi, one should never rush to put a full stop. What is certain is that every time he steps onto that field in the blue and white shirt, millions of people around the world will stop whatever they are doing to watch him. Because watching Messi play football is one of those rare privileges that life offers only a few times. A skinny boy from Rosario, a napkin, a medical treatment, a move to Barcelona, 20 years of greatness, and a trophy lifted in tears in the desert of Qatar. This is the story of Lionel Messi, and it is not over yet.